Which prospect do you think will play the most? I'm going to try that again. Which prospect do you think is most likely to change organizations at the deadline? Ken, let's start with you.
Well, I think it's Philip Broberg in Edmonton, their first round pick from Ken Holland's first draft, whatever that was. I just think that now, Edmonton is another team that, but you look at Koskinen the other night and he was great, right? So anyways, they need goaltending. They are in a win now mode. And, I think there's to the point where I think there's like jobs and reputations on the line here. And they've got to make it first. But I would think that, if you're going to go out and be serious at the deadline, and Ken Holland has been serious since last summer about building a team that's, that can win, then you probably are okay with giving this guy up. He's been really good at the American League. He hasn't been able to crack their NHL team yet. And I think they're a little bit disappointed with that, but he's been real good at the American League. So I would say him. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I think that's a good pick, Kenny, especially because they're not going to want to give away Evan Bouchard. So it's a great consolation prize to say, no, we still got another first-round guy. It's all good. And I'm going to stick with a first-round defenseman as well. I'm going to go to Colorado and say Justin Barron, the right-handed shot, who's been really seamless in his transition to the pro game in the AHL. And I just think, Joe Sakic for the first several years of his tenure was pretty conservative, but he's now graduated into this tier, or this juncture, I should say, where expectations have now skyrocketed for Colorado. This team is so dominant that if they don't, I don't want to say win the Stanley Cup, but maybe reach the final this year, is that a disappointment? I think you can make a case that if they don't win 3 rounds, it's a disappointment. That's how dominant this team has been. So I think they're at a point now where they have to go for broke and start throwing prospects overboard. They've already done it. They sacrificed Connor Timmins, right, in the deal to get Darcy Kemper. They gave up a first-round pick, but now they have to start dipping into the pool, which has been very strong, very deep. I'm not saying you have to try and move Bowen Byram. I don't think you go there yet. You probably wouldn't want to sell low while he's sorting out his concussion stuff anyways. Yeah. I think you can go Justin Barron, right-handed shot, premium position, the equivalent of a left-handed starting pitcher in baseball. So you can get a good return, I think, for him.
Good. That's good stuff.
Well, I saw yours ahead of time. I didn't see Matt's ahead of time, but man, we have a theme here because I'm saying Niels Lundqvist of the Rangers.
Yeah.
I think that the Rangers, they're not done rebuilding, but they definitely want to make some noise. And so you don't want to give up your first round pick this year, but maybe you give up a 21-year-old prospect that I'm not entirely sure how high the Rangers are on him.
Interesting. See, to me, the Rangers are playing with house money right now. Like they've had such a good year this year. I don't know that you want to throw the baby out with the bathwater on this one, and go for it when you don't know whether you're really good enough to really contend, but you're going to be good a few years down the road. So interesting. Yeah.
Well, that's sort of my point, is that you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So you don't want to get rid of your first rounder this year. But what's that kind of one step behind a first rounder can get us something that'll make some noise in the playoffs?
I can get on board with that.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Rangers this year, Matt?
I think you're bang on. It's funny, when I was using the Thomas Hertl example, I was picturing Lundqvist being the guy that they move as part of that trade. So, and of course they're desperate for someone to take Vitaly Kravtsov too, right? So you could throw him in as a cherry on top. You go Lundqvist, Kravtsov, and a second rounder for Thomas Hertl. Does that get you Thomas Hertl?
Wow,
maybe.
I think you'd have to, if you're New York, you'd have to have some assurances that he might resign with you. Because that's a lot. That's a lot for a rental. But if you're going for it, like you say, okay, good.
I was going to make a comment, but it would actually kind of give away your answer for the next question. So why don't we just move on to the next question?